Before we begin to discuss the situation on the front line of the Russian-Ukrainian war, please don't forget to like this video, write some comments and subscribe this channel to show your support for the Ukrainian people who are fighting for their future and for their freedom. Every your like is a good hit on the Russian occupiers. In the coming weeks, the Russian defense line will crack. The density of Russian troops is thinning. The Russians will be so weak that there will be a hole in the front with no one to defend it, and the Ukrainian Armed Forces will enter that place with no resistance. All this will happen before the rainy season. An important settlement was liberated in the Bakhmut area. The Klishchiivka-Andriivka-Kurdiumivka Russian defense line is beginning to collapse. Military experts suggest that the Russians are retreating towards the Bakhmutka river, and the Ukrainian army are driving Russians down from the high grounds. According to experts' opinions, after Andriivka, Kurdiumivka is next in the Ukrainian Armed Forces sights, and after Kurdiumivka, the Ukrainian soldiers are moving towards Gorlivka. Russia has concentrated 52,000 soldiers, about 274 tanks, more than 1,000 armored vehicles, 150 artillery systems, and about 120 MLRS in Bakhmut area. The Russian enemies also unsuccessfully tried to break through the Ukrainian defense in the areas of Yahidne and Bohdanivka in Donetsk region. Also in both of Avdiivka and Maryinka areas, despite the Russian enemy's offensive, the Ukrainian soldiers are holding their positions and conducting assault operations. Besides, the Russian armed forces have partial success in the areas of Verbova and Novoprokopivka in Zaporizhia area, pushing the Russian enemies out of their positions and consolidating the liberated positions. In Kherson area, the Ukrainian armed forces are engaged in the counter-battery combat, destroying Russian enemy supply depots and striking at their enemy's rear. In Melitopol area, the Russian army has trapped itself. A large number of troops in this area of the front line have become a good target for Ukrainian cluster munitions. In temporarily occupied Tokmak, the location of Russian enemy's equipment was discovered. They placed their equipment on the outskirts of the city. The more frequent the arrivals and the closer the front, the more scared the collaborators are. In this week, the passport office, FSB officers and part of the occupiers' administration were evacuated from Tokmak to Melitopol. Additional checkpoints are being deployed and new trenches are being dug. The Russian occupiers are preparing for Ukrainian offensive on Tokmak. This city is preparing to become a pillar of Russia's second main line of defense. Improvements in the city defense are likely to indicate Russian concern about Ukraine's tactical penetration of the first main line of defense in north. At the same time, the United States is beginning to massively replace F-16s across Europe with the latest F-35s, which can carry thermonuclear bombs. They will be deployed near border with Russia. These decisions gives a chance for the Ukrainian armed forces to be fully armed with F-16s. The experts also talk about that the USA has finished training Ukrainian bodyguards on boats that will soon be in the Black Sea. Also, the Ukrainian Defense Forces destroyed 2 Buk M3 anti-aircraft missile systems. The enemy equipment was eliminated in the occupied Svetlodarsk, which is located 20 kilometers from the front line. These destroyed systems were trying to protect the nearby headquarters of the Airborne Forces Brigade and Division. The successful destruction of the air defense systems from the air was confirmed by aerial reconnaissance. This is how Ukraine continues to fight for its future and for its freedom. Please do not stand aside. Support Ukraine. Like this video, write some comments and subscribe this channel. Glory to Ukraine, glory to heroes.